I am a true believer in the power of simplicity, and over the years, there's been this gradual shift in my home and in my life towards less clutter, more simplicity, and just more of what matters to me. So today in this video, I want to help you do the same by sharing 10 minimalist hacks to change your home and your life. These hacks either have to do with bringing fewer new items into your home, increasing the flow of stuff going out, or just changing some habits and routines that you might have to just make it easier to keep things simple when it comes to stuff and clutter, but also when it comes to how you live your life. Welcome back everyone, and if you're new here, this is a place where you can get tips and inspiration for living a simpler, happier, and calmer life. So be sure to click subscribe down below if you haven't already, if you want to follow along. And of course, if you want to grab something nice for yourself, I have a iced matcha latte right here. Pause the video, grab something, and we can get started. This is the best summer drink for me. When it comes to the things we own, the key to a simple home is having just enough. Not too many items, but also not too few, because that can complicate things as well. So this is a little trick that I like to do to make sure I'm being mindful and intentional when it comes to just the number of items I own for each category of stuff. If I only had one set of underwear, for example, that would complicate my life because I would have to wash them every day. Whereas owning 50 sets of underwear would also complicate my life because it's way too much and it'd be overwhelming. So get in the habit of quickly doing the math. How often do you do laundry? And so wearing one set of underwear every day, how many do you realistically need? Or how many people live in your home and how many towels does one person need? Then multiply that and there you go. You can also do this with shoes or shirts or bedding sets, depending on how many beds there are in your house and how many people live there, etc. Oftentimes we might see something that we like in the store, like cute bedding or towels or whatever it is, and we like it, so we buy it, and we tend not to think about if we already have enough and where that sweet spot is when it comes to the number of items that we own. So this little trick can really help with that, as well as, of course, save you lots of time and money because you're not out shopping for things you don't need. The only time when you have to go out shopping for new towels, for example, is if your old towels are just completely worn out and used up. One of the biggest causes of visual clutter in your home is surface clutter, things that are just laying around basically. And it can be distracting because there's so much going on. It can be overwhelming to the eye. And so the key here is to find those places in your home where clutter just tends to gather on the surface, and see if you can implement a system that makes it easier to keep it clear. Two things. If it is an item that you do not use frequently and it's on your surface areas, then don't keep it there in the first place. Find another home for it, somewhere where it can live and be out of sight when you're not using it. If it's something that you are using frequently, then having to put it somewhere and take it back out every time would complicate things, so that's not what we're gonna do. Instead, you can keep it on your surfaces, but try and find some kind of system for it. Maybe you can store it in a tray or in a container to keep certain things together instead of having them wandering all around your surface areas. I think when it comes to people, we tend to get a little bored after a while of having the same things around or doing the same things in life, having the same routines, and we start craving just something new. And I think that's usually when we will go out shopping for new outfits or home accessories or things like that. Now, I think there's nothing wrong with buying something new occasionally, and it's not about, not being able to buy new things. And I do think that there is some truth to what they say about variety being the spice of life, so it's fine. But I also think that we can be more intentional and ask ourselves first if we have to buy something new, or if we can also create some kind of newness by just changing some things around. You could think about rearranging some of your furniture pieces to get some new and fresh energy into your space. Maybe you could even DIY certain pieces and give them a makeover. If you're a handy type of person, you could change some plants around or some wall art things like that, to bring that sense of newness and to shake things up without actually buying new things and adding to your possessions. What I like to do is collect all of my home decor items on the kitchen table first and then set them all back in a different place than they were before. Or I like to examine certain routines that I might have or habits that I've gotten into and just do things at a different time than what I'm used to shake things up. For example, I have been feeling a little bored with my Japanese studies lately, and because of that, I haven't really been studying that much. And so I decided to switch it up. I'm now practicing on Duolingo. This is not sponsored, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it's something new and exciting, and I enjoy it, and I didn't have to buy anything new to create that. Declutter as you go, learn from my mistakes, and don't turn it into a big overwhelming project that just scares you and makes you want to procrastinate. As soon as you see one item that you no longer want or need, take action. If you're still in a phase where you're decluttering a lot, then get a box, put it somewhere in your home to collect items like that, and deal with it once a month, maybe donate or sell or whatever it is that you want to do. And if you don't have that many items left anymore, then you can deal with them one at a time and just get them out of your home as quickly as possible. The point is to just get used to letting things go as soon as you notice that they're not serving you anymore. Everything has two sides. If you want to live in a home that is simple and is not filled with clutter, then you might not be able to have everything that you think is cool. And if you want to live somewhere where you have lots and lots of options, you will also have lots and lots of items, and it will be harder to keep your home simple. That's just the way it is. JOMO means finding the joy in the things that you are missing out on. So by missing out on owning 10 different sundresses to choose from every day, I am gaining a very neat and organized closet. Or by missing out on buying all of these lovely home accessories that I love so much, and bowls and mugs and cups and things that just look really cute and lovely in the store, I am keeping my surfaces free from clutter and visual distractions, and the things that I do own I can enjoy a lot more. So no matter how you slice it, the more stuff you own, the harder it is going to be to keep your home simple and clutter-free. So this is a mindset shift that we can apply not just to our things, but also to our life, to really be intentional with what is worth keeping around. And it has been very helpful for me to see those two sides of it, to just see which side I value more in each particular situation. Again, we don't have to strive for owning less and less and less. That's not the point. It's about owning the right amount of things that make sense for you. And you can decide where on that spectrum you want to be, if you want to be more on the extreme side or more on the relaxed side of minimalism. Certain things might not spark joy anymore because you've had them for so long and they just don't give you that excitement that they did in the beginning that you get from something new. But because they've been around for so long and they've served you all this time, you can appreciate them all the more. And I found that this really does help with avoiding that trap of continuously wanting to buy new things to keep things fresh and exciting. I'll sometimes think about a certain sweater, for example. I recently had to get rid of it, unfortunately, because it had more holes than not holes by that time, and it was really old. But I've had it for 15 years. It served me all this time. It's been with me through all of kind of different phases of life. It's kept me warm all this time, and there's just a certain sense of appreciation that you don't get from something new. There are certain furniture pieces that we might think that we need because that's just what people do, and that's what you see when you visit someone's home or when you flip through a magazine, for example, like having end tables everywhere in your house, or having those like ottoman benches at the foot of the bed, things like that we might not actually need. And the downside of furniture items like that is that they just tend to collect a lot of dust and clutter, and they do complicate our rooms and our spaces. If you need them to store things that you use and love, then yes, they will simplify your home, do it. But if you don't need them for that, I have learned it's easier to just avoid them because they usually tend to collect stuff and just complicate things. One of the best and most impactful things we can do to simplify not just our home, but also greatly simplify our life is paring down our wardrobe and just breaking that culture of always thinking that we have to have more clothing items and that more options is always better. I now own way fewer clothing items than I used to, and it has made everything so much simpler, and you don't have to do the whole capsule wardrobe thing if that's not your cup of tea. And how many items you have, it depends on you, on your lifestyle, on your weather circumstances and laundry situation. I myself have about 40 items now, including shoes, and that number works for me. But you can decide what works for you. The most important thing is just realizing that more clothing items does not equal a better wardrobe. Paring down my wardrobe has also greatly helped me to curb my shopping cravings that I used to have. It's funny how it works very similar with me than with sugar. If I eat a lot of sugar and a lot of sweet things, I get these cravings where all I can think about is like eating a donut. But then if I break that cycle and I don't eat any added sugar for a few days, it goes away and I don't really think about it anymore. And it's very similar with clothing and shopping. So now that I have a very minimal wardrobe, I finally feel like I have enough, and I never have that feeling of not having anything to wear and then wanting to go out shopping. I found that there is one thing that has the power to greatly complicate my home, my life, and just steal so much of my time and energy, and that is digital devices. And don't get me wrong, technology is great, it's my job, but I know that it's a good idea to have some good and clear boundaries in place. And the biggest thing for me was finding a designated spot for those digital devices to be, so that they're always stored away and I get to decide when I want to use them instead of the other way around. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I just cannot recommend it enough to have something where you can store your phone or phones when you're not using them. We have a place like that, we call it the phone tray, and that is where our phones are when we're not using them. We have all notifications switched off, so they are just quietly waiting out of sight, out of mind for us when we are ready to use them. They're not trying to get our attention all day, and it has made a huge, huge difference. Paper clutter can be some of the toughest to deal with. I see it in my comment sections all the time. And for me, it's not really an issue, to be honest, because we hardly ever get papers into the house. And maybe we get something through the mail like once or twice a month, and that's it. So the more you can limit the amount of papers going into your house, the better and easier it'll be to store and organize the ones that you do need to keep. What we did is just every time some kind of paper comes into our house, we quickly ask ourselves, is there a way to digitize this? Either email the company and ask them to send you things through email instead in the future. Maybe you could scan a document and store it digitally. It is important to have some kind of system in place. We generally like to sort things by year so that you can easily find stuff that you store digitally. But you know, the more you do it, the easier it'll get. I would love to hear from you what minimalism hacks have been helpful to simplify your home and your life, so tell me in the comment section. And I'd like to take a moment to say a special thank you to my patrons for their support. If you enjoy my videos here and you want to help support the channel, then you can always join us. You will get access to 2 exclusive videos a month that I only share there. And the videos are ad-free and also come with an audio-only podcast version. Being on YouTube is my full-time job. It's my only source of income, and it actually comes with quite a few business expenses, and the income that I make through Patreon goes a really long way towards paying for those. From monthly expenses like software, licensing, my newsletter, web hosting, paying my accountant, to things like fixing or upgrading gear, equipment, camera, lighting, batteries, microphones, tripods, all of that stuff, to even finding new ways that I can add value for the Simple Happy Zen community, like recently buying an iPad so that I can start making digital art for Simple Happy Zen. Patreon is what helps make it all possible. It's also just a really wonderful community and a safe space for me to just be a bit more vulnerable and open up more about my personal life. So you might see the occasional vlog or some behind the scenes things that I don't share anywhere else. Since I'm a minimalist, I like to keep it clear and simple, so my Patreon does not have a bunch of different tiers. There's only one tier. It's $5 a month and everyone gets the same perks and benefits. And of course, you can join and cancel anytime. Whether you join me on Patreon or not, I just want to say thank you so much for your support here on YouTube as well. Watching my videos, liking, subscribing, commenting, all of these things really help and I really appreciate it a lot. And if you do become a patron, then there are already over 50 videos up that you can catch up on if you like. Like this vlog that I shared recently where I take you along on a typical work day in my life. As always, thank you so much for watching. Questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a wonderful day. Thank you and I will see you again next week. Bye bye.